Okay, so it has been a while since I've actually filmed something facing the camera. My last video, if you haven't watched it yet, which you should, was my Draw My Life video, which I thought was really good on behalf of the fact that it took me over 2 weeks to completely edit. Like doing things in between, obviously, but for the most part it took me a really long time to get that sped up. Anyways, who cares? The point is, now that it's been a while that I've been in front of the camera, because I've also been very sick. I'm still sick, and I kind of wanted to be like completely less congested by the time I sat down in front of the camera again, because I don't sound normal, but you may not be able to notice because I'm almost over the sickness. It's been over a week. It's been almost a week and a half that I've been like fully disgustingly congested and blowing my nose, it's just I just can't wait anymore. I need to film something. So anyway, today we're gonna film a video about just the weird things that people will say to you when you tell them about anything having to do with your bedwetting issues or overactive bladder issues, or even, let's just go ahead and say, irritable bowel syndrome issues as well. Just because all of those are awkward and annoying, and most people don't know a heck of a lot about them. So, and I know a lot about your bladder symptoms, not yours, but mine. So I've heard quite a lot of different responses from people who I know are caring. Like, and this is the thing, is like, most people are not saying this maliciously and trying to make you feel bad, but most people are trying to say it as a way to help. But there's the people out there who just don't think about what they say before they say it. And and I'm not talking about friends or family, like I am. I'm also talking about nurses and doctors and like everyone else in the world, strangers even, who think they know more about what's going on in your life than you do, or your doctor. So that's the fun part, is that some people are just so stupid and I just want to smack them, you know? And then, like I said, most people are just trying to help, so that's a good thing, is that they're just trying to say something that would be, maybe hadn't thought of it before in your 24 years of life. I mean, like, it's not unheard of. I thought I'd share some of them with you, and if you could share some of yours in the bottom with your comments, I haven't done this in a while, is share your stories, please, because I'd like to know if you can either relate to these ones at all, or if you have any new ones that I haven't heard of yet, because they're all good. The number one that people, mostly, you know, anyone really, this all just relates to the whole world, mostly just like friends, family, strangers, doctors, nurses, your cat even. Every single one of them will always suggest to you, have you tried not drinking as much at night? Or stop drinking at a certain time, like stop drinking at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. And like, people just come up with the craziest times to stop drinking water or any fluid at all. And to come back with that, I'm like, yes, I have tried that, thank you. As much as I wanted to fix my issues, I'm also not going to die of thirst, because I can't not drink anything for the entire day. Because that in itself is just a silly thing to say. Like, for example, like my bladder just holds on to liquids and water until like evening times, and it just kind of keeps producing like urine throughout the day, right? So you're just always going to be having an in and out flow of liquids. So I just think that's a very obviously uneducated thing to say. Yes, that would have been my first place to stop, and if it had worked, I would have kept doing it. Anyway, let's move on. Another one, my family sometimes pulls out on me. People who maybe haven't talked to me in a while, you know, like extended family and stuff. Sometimes they just say, well, maybe you just haven't grown out of it yet. I'm like, oh, right, the 24-year-old girl who hasn't grown out of her bedwetting issues. Oh, right, that's a very, very common thing that everyone talks about all the time. I've thought of that before. I mean, like, there's nothing I can do with, even with that statement being true, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just like, it's another, like, oh, well, this is what first comes into their mind when they think of, like, well, why are you still wetting the bed? I'm like, goodness, I wish I knew too. So that's why I'm telling you, sharing, empathizing with you. But anyway, another good one is, have you tried drinking less coffee or caffeine throughout the day? I didn't start drinking coffee or any caffeinated beverages, and I'm talking including pop, like anything, probably until like I was around 17, 18. I know I started drinking coffee when I got one of my first full-time jobs, and it was one of the days was early morning truck delivery, so I started getting used to drinking coffee, and I would have been 19 at the time. So, but like the stupid thing about that is most children under the age of 10 do not drink coffee or carbonated drinks or caffeinated drinks of anything kind, or they shouldn't be, but when I was younger I didn't. So I've always wet the bed, and when I tell you this, you should kind of think about those things when you say them out your mouth. They should just think about the things you say, because I didn't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee every single day. I mean, I have started to, but it's not hindering or changing or improving my symptoms with overactive bladder or bedwetting. It's exactly the same. So I can do whatever I want with my body. You don't have to tell me what to do. And a lot of the time that kind of comment comes from family and friends, and then doctors you kind of just meet, and sometimes they'll bring up something stupid like that, and I'll be like, gee, thanks. Another good one about people who have no idea what you're talking about, or even know about their own bladder or body, is some people just suggest and say, you must have a tiny bladder, because that's not actually a thing. Your bladder is either overactive or it's not. You can have a deformed bladder, I'm sure, but having a tiny bladder does not what's that mean? What's the word? Constitute a reason to go to the bathroom more often, or not even that, just leak in general. You can have, even if you have a smaller bladder than someone else because you're a smaller person or whatever, it does not, constitute a reason to be leaking all the time. It just means that you would be drinking. It doesn't mean anything. Like, your bladder stretches like a balloon, so it's gonna grow and it's gonna empty. No, please, everyone stop saying that there's such thing as a tiny bladder. There isn't. Moving on. Another good one is when, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit overweight, which I don't really talk about because it's not a big deal. It's just a thing about me that doesn't matter. I've been different weight I've been many different weights throughout my life. I've never been I've never been like super skinny, but I have been fairly tiny. And I still have had the point where I've always wet the bed. Let's just put that aside. The fact is that most people see my weight and think, gee, she must be diabetic. And then the comment comes out saying, maybe you have diabetes, or you must have diabetes, or when was the last time you got checked for diabetes from your doctor? Those are good suggestions. To suggest to someone that they may or may not have diabetes isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be insulting to who you're talking to, but I've heard it so many times that it's just like, yes, I've been checked and no, I don't have it, and nor do I look like I'm going to get it anytime soon, is the comment I keep telling people back. Because yes, I have been checked and my doctor's saying completely healthy, completely fine, I do not risk for diabetes. So it's a good suggestion to always throw it out there, because I know that there are other there are other diagnoses that have bedwetting or overactive bladder as a symptom of their whatever illness. So it's a good thing to throw out there, but again, no. If I say no, then I mean no. I'm not saying it because I'm being defensive. I mean no. I don't have it. And most of the time that comes from, like I said, strangers or doctors, because doctors want to know foremost what they're looking for, and strangers are just curious and trying to help, I guess. Now this one's a kind of a combined one, because this happens mostly and strictly amongst nurses, who I mostly see before I see the doctor and then go see the doctor, is that they'll say either one, okay, so I don't want to get these confused, but most of the time nurses will say, have you tried, and then mention something of these solutions that I've already brought up. They'll say something like, maybe you should tell a doctor about that. Kind of like, sometimes people are just sort of, stupid, and they don't think about where they are and what's going on and how they got here, kind of thing. And I'm just like, yes, exactly, I'm going to tell my doctor about that, because I'm waiting for him right now. Or they'll say something like, they'll whisper, and that is one interesting occurrence I've come across the past year and a half. Is when nurses think they need to whisper about the issue at hand, when I'm actually at the doctor's office waiting for the doctor. We do not need to whisper. I'm already gone through most of the embarrassment. Like, you're not gonna create more. Like, you're fine, relax. But sometimes they'll just whisper. And I've had a nurse actually the morning of my first interstim surgery. That's where I got the implant placed in my rear in order to help with my overactive bladder symptoms, which is a whole other story. If you haven't seen any of my videos about that, I've made plenty. But the morning of my first interstim surgery, the intake nurse, or whatever she was, I don't even remember. Her name was Audrey. That I remember. And she was just like, oh, wait, why are you here? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm having my interstim implant. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, you're too young for that. Like, I don't know if she's trying to make me feel better, or if she just felt like shaming me for some reason. But she was just like, you're too young for that. And then she kind of kept like, she's like, you're Olivia, right? Like, I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm not too young for that. No, you're fine. Don't ask me all these questions. And then she actually like put forth like one of those stupid like comments about how I should have tried this before coming to the doctor. I'm like, I don't think you realize this is not my first step in trying to help myself. This is the last step, actually. And it was just, I was so frustrated. I was so mad when she said, I don't even remember the comment because it was so annoying and I didn't want to remember it. I think I wrote it down somewhere or told someone, but my best friend was there, and when this lady had mentioned the comment after Audrey left the room, I was just like, I could have destroyed her for saying that, because it was just, like I said, such a dumb thing to say. Just basically like, have you tried not drinking water at night? And I'm like, by gosh, you've solved it. Like, that would have been, oh, it was just so dumb. Another thing some nurses will say is that there's a medication for that, or they'll list things that I've already done and it's already in my charts, but they don't read it. They just kind of like verbal vomit. Like, they just kind of say the things that are coming to the brain before they read. And like, I have that all the time too. Don't get me wrong, but when it's on the chart in front of you, they'll be like, oh, have you tried this, this, and this? And I'll be like, yes, I have. It's right there. You should read. That is really annoying. That is annoying on all accounts, especially if you go see a doctor, and especially if it's a specialist that you are required to see, and they're just kind of like not reiterating everything you've done, but just kind of been like, so you've done this and this and this, but yeah, sorry, I guess reiterating everything you've already done. And then you kind of have to tell them a little bit more about it or about yourself, and then just read my file. That's all I want from you. It's your only job. That's not their only job, but still, it's just annoying. I'm in an annoying mood, I guess. Just wanted to share those thoughts with you. And then there's the comments by the friends and family who just think they're doctors, and they just want to say something like, again, kind of like what the nurses will do, but they'll be like, so after I've told my story to someone, which I think, explains in a very short time frame, I can explain most of what's going on or has happened to me in the past 6-7 years with my bladder. And after explaining that to them, most people will come back with, well, have you tried blank? Yes, I think I have, by explaining to you, yes, I've tried all the medications, all the therapies, Botox, the pelvic floor physiotherapy, sleep studies. Like, I've tried everything. So after explaining that, and then they say something like just ridiculous and also counterintuitive with what we just said, that just makes me mad in general for being a poor listener on your part. Bad on you. Shame on you. I've gotten this once or twice before, but some people will just ask me, is it for attention? And most of these doctors, sometimes it's like, what do you call it? Psychotherapists of any kind, like a therapist of any kind. They'll try and dive into something that's more of on like a conscientious level, whatever. And yeah, they've said stuff like, is it for attention? Like, is this something that you're doing maybe not on purpose, but on purpose kind of thing? And I'm just like, no, I have no control over it. And if it was, why would I choose bedwetting? I'm not that that's just so wrong. Why would that's such a waste of my time? I don't want to do that. That's just terrible. I know that there are some cases out there of people who will use wetting the bed or pooping themselves or whatever as an excuse to get attention from their parents or whatever. But no, it's just one of those things. I guess they have to ask, but it just irritates me to the core. And then when I kind of vent about something, things aren't working out well, sometimes, most of the time to my mom or family of any kind, people will just say, well, don't get mad at the doctors for it. I'm like, I'm not mad at the doctors. I'm mad at everything. Like, I'm not mad at why would I take it out on the doctors? They're the ones helping me for free. And another thing people will say is, well, did you pay for it? I'm like, no, it's covered by Ontario Health Insurance OHIP. Like, it's covered. I don't have to pay for it. And they're like, well, you shouldn't be mad then. Just leave me alone. Let me vent. Let me figure out why I'm angry. I'm not mad at any one particular thing. I'm mad at my body for not reacting the way it's supposed to. Like, those are just really annoying things that people will say. And I'm sure there's plenty more. And it's just not fair to kind of just, I mean, I probably do it too to a lot of people. I'm sure people told me something that is very, upfront, and I'm like, well, have you done this? And then they're just like, yes. And I'm like, okay. So I try to avoid that situation in myself. When I know I'm going to say something stupid, I'll just kind of try and empathize. I'm so sorry that's happening. Like, that sucks. Like, that's a terrible thing you're in. Let me know if you want to talk about it more. Like, some people just don't want to talk about it. And some people have to because they're going to see a doctor. Anyways, I'd really appreciate it if you want to let me know about some more of your comments, or I keep saying that wrong. Let me know if you have any more strange stories like those to yourself. I'm sure I've got more, but these were the ones I could just think of. And last night I was just like, oh, this is so annoying. And I'm still sick and I hate it, and I wish my body would just figure itself out because I'm just so congested, and it's been like 10 days now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of these kind of like terror or horror story videos, let me know. I'm sure I'll come up with more. Yeah, I just kind of thought it was kind of funny. Like I said, no shame, no real like hate towards anyone in particular, but people can be stupid, and it's kind of just funny to just relate with those stupid moments that people have in life. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you later. Hopefully next time I won't be as sick. And no, I'm legit sick. That wasn't just a pity cough. I'm legit sick. Okay, bye!